Hi, my name is John Humenick. I'm an engineer at Comm Solutions, and I'm here just to talk to you a little bit about what you missed if you didn't have a chance to attend Synergy yourself. One of the technologies they talked about that you may have heard a lot about already is ShareFile. If you're not familiar with ShareFile, it's basically a enterprise version of Dropbox. What that means is, just like Dropbox, you can take files locally, sync them out to the cloud, store them securely, and then edit them as you need to. While sharing out to the cloud is certainly convenient, one of the things you can do now is store those files, that data, locally on premise. What that means is you have the flexibility of the cloud for files or locations where you don't necessarily need to keep it local, or you can't keep it local, but you also have the ability to store them now on a local CIFS share on your network, so that you can match compliance, regulations, things like that that may be regulating why or how you couldn't use it before. The client also allows you to securely access the files from any mobile device, but again, you can still access them through the web. You can still access it from your laptop, desktop. It just gives you extra flexibility. Not only does ShareFile support the local CIFS file share for storage, ShareFile can also connect directly to SharePoint. That means you have access to features like check-in and check-out and editing, which you may be using in your organization already. And as you can see, ShareFile now supports Windows Azure as well. One of the major releases for Synergy this year was XenDesktop 7. You can see their tagline there: App and Desktop Virtualization Reimagined for Simplicity and Mobility. They're looking at it as any user on any device can access any Windows app or desktop. With XenDesktop 7, there's some significant changes if you're familiar with XenApp and XenDesktop previously. One of the main changes is that you now have an integrated environment. You have a single environment for XenDesktop and XenApp. They are no longer considered to be separate. There's one download. Everything is working together. Along with that, you have simplified administration. There are now only two consoles. If you're familiar with them from before, you know that there's multiple consoles for each application. Again, as part of that integration, there's two consoles to manage the entire environment. HDX Insight, it's now integrated. It provides end-to-end user experience visibility, giving you a better chance to troubleshoot problems as they're occurring, or potentially cut them off before they even begin to be a problem. HDX Mobile allows for the native feel on mobile devices. That means that when you open an application on your iOS device, it feels more like an iOS device as opposed to a Windows app running on it. Additionally, HDX Mobile SDK for Windows apps allows developers in-house to build or extend applications to have that native functionality, so that they can take advantage of devices and the components on those devices and make it look much more native. And finally, much better GPU acceleration. You can now leverage multiple VDI sessions to a single GPU. We sort of talked about it already, but this is Citrix's 1-2-3 guide to XenDesktop 7. You have one download. Again, XenApp, XenDesktop combined. Everything you need is in the one download, and potentially as few as 8 clicks to complete the entire installation. Configuration is done afterwards, so the install itself is very straightforward. 2 administration consoles. As we mentioned previously, there's multiple consoles for each application, XenApp and XenDesktop. Now with them combined, you're down to just 2 total: XenDesktop Studio and XenDesktop Director. One for monitoring the environment, one for configuring the environment. And 3 steps you won't have to do again: workload provisioning, app-by-app publishing, Windows app migration. Workload provisioning, very quickly you can create, manage, and expand the images in your environment. You no longer have to publish applications one by one. As part of the VDA that is installed on the XenApp server, applications are enumerated quickly, and you can push them out just as easily. In Windows app migration, AppDNA is actually integrated into the technology now, so you can check apps for readiness for virtualization and migration to your environment. HDX Insight, it's now integrated into XenDesktop Director. You can use it for monitoring your environment. If you have a NetScaler, you can leverage that as well. And between the two of them now, you have end-to-end monitoring for all HDX traffic. That means you can see everything from end-to-end as far as your applications being delivered to the user and the users accessing your network. This allows you to instantly triage app and network issues. You can see exactly where the problem is. You can see what users, channels, or apps are causing the problem and deal with that accordingly. And along with that, you have the real-time and the historical reporting so that you can see exactly what's been happening on your network and if it's happening currently. HDX Mobile. With some of the performance increases, you can now have HD video on any device, even over a 3G network. That's a 100% increase in WAN efficiency. With your mobile devices, you now have what we already mentioned, the dynamic experience. You have the natural gestures, you have smooth scrolling, you have pop-up keyboards. You have access to all the native device functions, GPS, sensors, cameras, everything that comes together to make that application feel more like a native app, whether it's how they interact with the app or what they have access to through the app. It allows for a much nicer experience instead of just having a Windows app sitting on top of my iPad, for example. The HDX Mobile SDK is available to ISVs and partners. It allows you to add a mobile front end to existing Windows apps. These are apps that are hosted on your Zen desktop or Zen app environment. And again, as we mentioned, they allow you to make it look more native. They allow you to access existing hardware. There's more than 50 APIs that Citrix has developed specifically for those purposes. And online, there's code examples, there's documentation, and there's a developer's forum. If you've ever worked with applications that are more intensive graphically, you know the problems you can run into when you're trying to improve performance for the users. Zen Desktop 7 definitely helps in that regard. One of the changes they made is they now support OpenGL acceleration. Applications that can use OpenGL will definitely see an improvement. Additionally, we mentioned earlier, you can now share a GPU among hosted shared apps. This GPU doesn't have to be dedicated to a single desktop instance anymore. Now you can spread that out and get more benefit from it. There's a better codec for remote performance. And some of the big news is that NVIDIA came out on stage during the keynote and they announced their NVIDIA Grid cards for virtual GPU support. This is going to be through Zen Server. It hasn't been released into beta yet, but now you'll be able to include virtual GPUs in the systems that you're starting up. Desktop Player for Mac is a new product that will allow you to take a centrally managed image of a Windows desktop, for example, and run that both locally and in a hosted environment for your Macs. This then allows you to make a seamless transition between on the network and off the network. Users will have anytime, anywhere access to that Windows virtual desktop. It's a great product for BYO Macs where you don't have control over the device itself, but you want them to have full access both on and offline. Zen Desktop 7 has licensing that will look very familiar for anyone who's dealt with it before. You still have the Enterprise and the Platinum Edition licensing at the top. That includes both the standard, what you would consider Zen Desktop and Zen App in the past. But they've broken out the basic versions to be VDI Edition and App Edition. Those both do basically what you expect them to. VDI Edition is what you would more or less traditionally consider to be Zen Desktop, and the App Edition is what you would traditionally consider to be Zen App. When you're looking to use both of them, again, you can move up to the Enterprise and Platinum Editions. Zen App 6.5 Feature Pack 2. A lot of the features we've talked about that are part of Zen Desktop 7 are actually going to be introduced into Zen App 6.5 through Feature Pack 2. This includes the HDX 3D Pro with the GPU sharing, the mobile SDK that we've talked about several times. Link 2013 support is going to be included now. And then, of course, the seamless local apps integration, and then the automated P2V powered by the AppDNA that we touched on a little bit earlier. At Synergy, Citrix also revealed their other big update, which is that in the Zen Mobile environment. If you're familiar with Zen Mobile or the MDM suite, you'll recognize right away that some of the changes involve some of their branding. No longer do they have the Me at Work suite with the At Work Mail and the At Work Web. Now you have the Works suite of software, and that encompasses a couple different things that we'll talk about here. First off, the Zen Mobile Suite encompasses the MDM for the actual device management, but also the software side of it, managing the software and some native applications that have been developed specifically for Zen Mobile. Works Enroll and Works Home are two of those. With Works Enroll, users can now self-register their devices using their email address or a site that you've set up. And Works Home is another application that again can be used by the user to adjust settings, request support, and access the App Store. Along with those two, you have Works Mail, Works Web, and ShareFile. Works Mail and Works Web obviously taking over for the At Work Mail and the At Work Web. ShareFile, which we've already talked about, but here specifically within the Zen Mobile Suite and for the mobile devices. Works Mail, Works Web, ShareFile, they all work within a very secure environment that is managed from your network. When you go in, you can define policies, you can define how applications will work, how they will interact with each other. Works Mail here, you can see doing mail, calendar, contacts, enterprise class security because of how it accesses the network on the back end. Native experience, meaning that the application along with Works Web and ShareFile and the rest of the apps have been natively designed specifically for mobile devices. They're not being pushed out like Outlook or something like that. They are actually applications that reside on the device and that use the environment that the user's already used to. Possibly something that has been decided at the corporate level, or quite possibly a device that they've selected because they like how it flows. Works Web, same way, secure mobile browser, access to internal web apps, URL black and white lists. Again, it's functioning through the secure environment that is being pushed out by Zen Mobile. This is again defined by administrators, and basically between the two and the other applications here is talking back to your network through basically a micro VPN that gets created every time the user requests something. Each application is working within its own little secure environment. They can be locked down to only work with that environment or share information across all applications. Because of this micro VPN that's being generated, Works Mail can talk back to your servers for mail, for contacts, for calendarings, for receiving the mail. Works Web, same way. You can actually use that to access your internal web applications. You can use it to get to whatever you need to internally without actually exposing that outside your network. And ShareFile, of course, as we've already talked about a little bit, you've got the secure file sharing and syncing. You can again edit content there on your mobile device, and you have access to SharePoint and network files on your device natively through this micro VPN. You could email someone a link to your SharePoint server, have them receive that securely within Works Mail, have that load through Works Web if they want, or have it point to the ShareFile location and access it through the client itself. Here you've got a little graphic showing that in a normal application environment on a mobile device, all applications are installed by the user, possibly pushed down through policy if you're managing them through a MDM solution. But basically there's no walls. Every application can talk to every other application. That includes sharing data, that includes copy and paste, that includes photos you've taken or screenshots you've taken on the device. But the new version of Zen Mobile, you can push those applications out, and again, you can define policies at the domain level, at the administrative levels that you want to maintain within your network, and you can define that certain applications automatically are pushed down and whether or not they can communicate. In this point slide here, you can actually see you have a user accessing Salesforce, and they're allowed to copy that data into their Evernote application for taking notes, for using those for presentations, but that's an Evernote that's being managed by the company. They can't take that same content and copy and paste it into Google, for example. You can't use Chrome to access their mail or post it to a blog. And in that way, you can keep data secure within your app container, secure with your data center, secure within this environment, and not let them integrate that with their personal life. So you're keeping the work and the home completely separate. And here it spells out a little bit of it in more detail. Secure app containers. Every application has its own little app container that is maintaining the data, keeping it safe, keeping it secure if that's what the policies define. The micro VPN that gets generated as an application needs data on the back end, it generates a micro VPN and uses that for communication to your network. App-specific lock and wipe refers to the ability to remotely wipe applications from a device but not touch the personal information. So that is, if a employee is leaving the company and it's their own personal phone, it's their own personal app, iPad or tablet, customer or company information can be pulled from the device without touching the rest of it. The whole device doesn't need to be wiped. Inter-app communication refers to, again, corporate applications are allowed to talk to corporate applications if you define them that way. They can talk back to the network, they can talk to each other, but they are not allowed, or they don't have to be allowed, to talk to all other applications. And again, personal applications cannot necessarily talk to corporate applications unless you allow that. Conditional access policies, again, policies defined at the corporate level to determine how applications interact, how users interact with those applications, and then federated identity and SSO if you have those needs within your network. The MDM edition, the App Edition, and Enterprise Edition are the three different levels of licensing. The MDM edition basically only encompasses mobile device management. So if you're only looking to manage devices and you're not concerned about the applications, you don't want to have to manage those applications, you can license Zen Mobile solely for managing the devices. On the other side, you can also license Zen Mobile only for the application edition. What that means is you can only manage the applications, you don't manage the devices, but you can set up the policies, you can push those applications down and allow the users to use whatever device they want, but know that your applications are secure. And then the Enterprise Edition combines both of those, allowing you to manage devices and applications at the same time. GoToAssist is another part of the Zen Mobile suite that they include as the entire product and solution. With GoToAssist on your mobile device, you can basically have OnStar-like support. You can request support from your device that can go back to a help desk or go back to an administrator and basically have live support there on that mobile device. It allows for integrated chat. The user can take screenshots and upload them. It supports iOS and Android screen sharing. Or you can open up a ticket for scheduled support and follow up later. 1 free year of the subscription is included with the Enterprise Edition. The Works App SDK allows your developers to enable any mobile app for the Works environment, sort of like the earlier HDX mobile SDK. This is for mobile devices and specifically the Zen Mobile environment. You can control authentication, you can control security, you can control the encryption, you can define app access rules, network access requirements, everything that you would want to secure or define parameters for the application, that can be done now. Additionally, if you have needs that are already addressed by an application that are out there, you can go out and take a look at the Citrix site and see what Works-ready partner apps are already available. Download them, include them in your solution. And as we said earlier, Zen Mobile, the revolutionary way to mobilize your business, is their tagline. And here you can see a slight deviation from the earlier one. Any user on any device, and now any Windows or mobile app or desktop can be provided with Zen Mobile and your Zen desktop environment.